I want to welcome everybody to our next level masterclass. Today we're going to be talking about VA renovation loans. And where I'm recording this, it's literally a couple days after Veterans Day. So I called one of my favorite veteran expert loan officers. He's a Marine himself, Jeremy Drobeck. He's one of the top renovation loan experts in the United States. He is a top lender in the Kalamazoo, Michigan market, but lends money in a lot of different places. Jeremy, welcome to our masterclass today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Matt. I'm so excited to be back.
Yeah, so about a year ago, you and I recorded a masterclass on HUD homes and how you could buy them for $100. That video went viral, tens of thousands of views, and we've helped a handful of people purchase these unicorn homes where literally for $100 down, you can get this house. Now I wanted to come back to you because there is a new program. It's the VA Renovation Loan. We've had VA loans forever, but the idea of being able to do a renovation on this, from what you've told me in passing, is actually a huge deal for vets out there. So, Jeremy, I want you to quickly reintroduce yourself and tell us why this VA loan renovation program is such a big deal right now.
Yeah, so Jeremy Drobeck, and I'm with Treadstone Mortgage, and I've been in the business for coming on 25 years here pretty soon. So, long time. As you mentioned, I was in the Marines, and I just a passion for helping vets. I mean, I absolutely love helping vets out. I connect with them well on the phone because of my background in the Marine Corps, and it's an underserved program. It's looked down on sometimes by the real estate community, and it's one of the best programs out there, if not the best loan program out there. And I'm super excited. This VA renovation piece alleviates 99% of the concerns the real estate community has when a buyer's using VA financing. So awesome program that we've been able to roll out.
So let's just get into it. So my first big question is, what is the biggest challenge that veterans face when they're trying to buy a home with VA home financing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The challenge is the appraisal piece. So most of the VA loan guidelines and stuff are very similar to other programs out there as far as qualifying and whatnot. But when it comes to the appraisal is done basically. The lender orders the appraisal through this VA portal, and the VA assigns the appraiser. Now, very similar to the other government programs like FHA and rural development, when the appraiser goes out to the home, they're tasked with identifying any health and safety issues. Now, don't get me wrong, conventional loans aren't immune to this, but on a conventional loan, it's much more lenient on the appraisal end. With the VA and FHA and things, what the appraiser is going to flag things like peeling paint because of the possibility of lead in the paint. They're going to flag, a tarp on the roof, busted windows, missing light fixtures. If there's no furnace or the heat can't be turned on or something, that can be an issue with VA. So that when that appraisal is done, they oftentimes come back, especially in the first time home buyer world, where it's on the lower end of the market pricing and stuff. Those homes sometimes need a little bit of love, and they'll often come back with some repairs where the appraiser says, hey, you got some peeling paint around these windows that needs fixed. And for that reason, it makes it more challenging to get a seller to accept an offer. And I've even seen cases where realtors are like, I don't want to work with them. They're doing VA financing, and they just kind of discard the vet because of the VA financing piece. This VA renovation loan can solve that problem for people.
I love that. So is the VA renovation loan, is the VA renovation loan a standalone program, or is this just a normal VA loan that allows for renovations?
It's a normal VA loan that allows for renovations.
Jeremy, you got it. Complete sentences. So you got to rephrase the question there. So I'll do this again. Is the VA renovation loan a standalone loan, or is this just a VA loan that allows for renovations?
So the VA renovation program it's not two mortgages. It's a standalone product, right? So basically, we take the normal VA loan. Like, let's just use a really simple example, Matt. So let's say it's $100,000 house, right? And they get a bid from a contractor for $30,000 to fix it up. We take the 100,000 plus the 30,000. That takes them to 130, and that's one loan that we finance. It's not the 100,000 plus some second mortgage or something for 30. This isn't any magic that we're doing. The VA recognizes that they require repairs sometimes on certain things on the house. And so the VA wants to give the veterans a way to take care of that. So they say, hey, you can roll these into the loan program and it's all one standalone loan.
Let's talk about down payment requirements. What are the down payment requirements for a VA renovation loan?
Yeah, so the down payment requirements for a VA renovation loan and any VA mortgage for that matter, it's zero down. So the VA will, and that's the big benefit to VA is that the veteran can purchase a home with no money down. It's just a stellar program.
So I know so I want you to phrase this by talking about the fact that there's other renovation loans out there.
Yep.
So I know there's a lot of other renovation loans that we've been talking about for the last couple of years. What is the benefit of a VA renovation loan over, let's say, FHA or one of the others?
So the VA renovation loan is very, very similar to some of the other renovation programs we offer, where the buyer gets a bid from they go under contract on a home, they get a bid, and we finance it in, and it's all one loan. Like, that part is very, very similar. The benefit to the VA loan over, say, an FHA loan or a conventional loan is that the VA allows, number one, for no money down. And with that, they also don't have a monthly mortgage insurance amount or PMI amount. So, where your FHA renovation loan would have, maybe $100 or $150 or $200, depending on what the person's spending, extra a month in mortgage insurance, the VA says, nope, one of the benefits for you serving our country is that you don't have to pay this mortgage insurance. And so they can purchase a home with no money down, and they don't have to have that monthly mortgage insurance.
What type of renovations qualify or can veterans use with a VA renovation loan?
So the VA renovation loan is pretty darn lenient. It's easier to explain what they won't let us do than what they can do, because the possibilities really are pretty much limitless. So what they can't do is structural work to the home. So if you got to jack the house up and do a bunch of foundation work, or if you're tearing down a bunch of load-bearing walls and reconstructing something there, or messing with the joists on the house, like, structural items are not allowed on the VA program. We have another program for that, but to utilize the VA, there can't be any structural work. With that said, what they can do is, it needs new flooring, new windows, new furnace, new water heater, new AC, like a new roof, the siding, if it's got peeling paint all over the outside of the house and somebody wants to side it, like, that's totally fine. So there's tons of stuff that the buyer can do. What they can't do is structural work.
Is there a minimum amount of renovations that they need to do to make this worth it versus just, making the changes after close?
So the minimum amount that somebody needs to have in renovations to kind of make this make sense, make this VA renovation loan make sense, really depends on the person's scenario. Now, if it's, there are some other ways to handle, like, repairs that come up that are required. It really, really is based on the individual. I would say, as a general rule, 5,000 plus worth of work is kind of where it starts to make sense. If it's $1,000 worth of work, it's probably not worth the hassle of messing with the contractor and jumping through these. There's a couple, 3 or 4 extra hoops we got to jump through with these VA renovation loans, and so about 5,000. I will say too, it's worth noting that the cap on VA renovations is 50,000. So if the renovation amount exceeds 50,000, then the VA renovation loan doesn't work, and that's where we'd go to one of our other renovation programs that we have.
Let's talk about appraisal. So when someone does a VA renovation loan, they're buying a home that needs some work. They're getting all the work done, and then all of a sudden they have a house at the end of the day that's dollied up. Are vets making out like bandits in this with homes that are then over appraising? Let's talk about value. How does the value work?
Yeah, so the way the value works on the appraisal piece of this is they go under contract, and then they get a bid from a contractor, and then we order the appraisal. And when we order that VA appraisal, we're sending the appraiser the purchase agreement and the bid. And so the appraiser's doing the appraisal as completed, not as is. So the appraiser goes into the home, they say, okay, they're doing this work, they're doing a furnace, they're redoing the kitchen, they're siding the house, whatever items they're doing, the appraiser's going to then say, okay, once all that work's done, here's how much the house is worth. And so when we get that appraisal back, it's got an as completed value, not as is. So we very rarely have appraisal issues on these types of renovation loans because of the appraisers looking at that after product. Now, whether or not it's worth more, it really just depends. It's all, did they buy it right, right? And every market's a little bit different and stuff. But I've absolutely seen scenarios where the buyer's going to be all in house plus bid at 200 and the thing's appraised for 250 because the buyer's willing to go through the hassle of getting this done.
Awesome. So let's talk about VA mortgage interest rates. For someone that doesn't know how interest rates work, do they differ? How would you describe VA mortgage interest rates?
Yes, so I get the question a lot, how are VA rates or what do VA rates look like? And I think people ask that question because, they figure, hey, this is a no money down program. They're probably jacking the rates way up on them. That's simply not the case. The VA loan lines up with any other program out there. So, the VA loan pricing, so to speak, or interest rate should be in line with the rest of the market and the rest of the programs that are out there. So rate wise, there's there's no downside to VA in terms of interest rate. And there's the added benefit of no PMI, right? So because there's no PMI on it, typically the payments work out lower than other loan options.
Mm. What about VA home loan inspection requirements and the inspection process?
So as far as the VA inspection process or requirements, there's a misconception out there that the VA does this very thorough, detailed inspection of the house, and that's just simply not true. What the VA has done is an appraisal. And so the appraiser is the one tasked with identifying any health and safety issues with the house. So the appraiser is going into the home. Their primary job is to give us what they think the value is of the property. And then as a second job duty, so to speak, for this appraiser is to identify any health and safety issues like peeling paint, busted windows, missing light fixtures, those kind of things. And so when we get the appraisal back, the VA appraiser may require some repairs. It's by no means as detailed as like a home inspection. So I still recommend to veterans, like, hey, get a home inspection done, because that home inspector is going into the home. They're spending a couple hours crawling in the attic, crawling under the house. If it's on a crawl space, they're doing a thorough, detailed inspection. The VA appraisal isn't anywhere near that. So there's no specific inspection that's done on the property.
So from what I'm hearing is, the inspection is really there to protect the veteran. The inspector is in essence their advocate working for them. The appraiser, although yes, they're working for the buyer, they're also working for the mortgage company and trying to protect that investment or that loan.
Exactly. That's totally correct. Yeah.
Okay. What about refinancing? So, you help a vet get into an awesome VA renovation loan or maybe a normal VA loan, but then 2-3 years later, maybe 10 years later, interest rates go down. Can you do a VA renovation refinance? And what does that look like?
Yeah. So, absolutely, you can do a VA renovation refinance. And whether rates are up or down may not even be relevant, right? It depends on the person's scenario. But if a buyer or a homeowner has whatever loan they have out there right now, whether it's a VA loan or some other type of loan, if they're a veteran, they can come in and we can have them get a bid from a contractor, and we can refinance it and roll those renovation costs into the transaction. Where that benefits veterans, it goes back to the appraisal side. So when we do the appraisal, we're sending the appraiser the bid, and the appraiser's appraising it as completed. So a lot of times when people refinance, they're refinancing because they say want to remodel a bathroom, and they'll come in and we'll be looking at a normal loan or something, and they won't have enough equity there to pull cash out to do the bathroom. Or their other option will be a home equity line that's an adjustable rate mortgage and maybe isn't the smartest thing in the world to do. The cool thing about this VA renovation loan is we send that appraiser the bid, and typically that value will then come in higher because it's appraised as completed, right? So, hey, appraiser says, hey, they're redoing the kitchen. Because they're redoing the kitchen, the house is going to be worth $30,000 more than it is currently. And we use that as completed value when we calculate all the numbers. So for a veteran, the VA renovation loan program, if they want to refinance to rehab the house, it's a great option to look at.
So what are we just covered 10 really big points. What are any final closing thoughts on the VA renovation loan?
I have to mention this, and this is a Michigan thing. I know some other states do some similar stuff. But I want to talk real quickly about disabled vets. And these are the guys and gals that really paid a big price to our country, right? And somehow, they came out of the military with some type of disability. The VA rates them, and they'll give them a percentage of disability. And for the vets that are 10% or more disabled, they're exempt from the funding fee on a VA loan, which can save them thousands of dollars. For the vets that are 100% disabled in Michigan, they're exempt from paying property taxes on their primary residence. So in just all fairness, that's not really a mortgage thing per se, but for the disabled vets out there that are 100% disabled, know that you are exempt from paying property taxes in Michigan.
I mean, that's such a huge thing to understand, because if there's two people looking at a house, and one, let's say, is a disabled veteran who served our country, that their total monthly payment and expenses on that house, combining their VA loan benefit of zero down with the property tax exemptions, I mean, they could literally be into that home for a lot less money initially and also monthly than their non-veteran counterpart.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, and not, I love that we're doing this video, because we need to get the message out, because people don't know it's out there. They don't understand that it's available, but it's an amazing program. So,
all right. So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this. I know we have a lot of real estate agents and real estate brokers listening to the show right now. What one or two kind of like closing remarks would you want them to fully understand about the VA renovation loan?
Yeah. So for the realtors out there and the real estate brokers listening to this podcast or watching this video, don't look down on these VA loan programs. It is an awesome program. It's a huge benefit to the buyer. Like, give them the time of day. They served our country. They deserve it, and they earn this benefit. If you're concerned about the loan program, call me. I'll help you out. I will see it through to closing. I'll show you how we get the deal done. It's just an awesome program, and I want to see the veterans take full advantage of this.
Well, Jeremy, number one, thank you for your service. We really, really appreciate it. And thanks for the advice today. If anyone needs more information on a VA renovation loan, a renovation loan in general, VA loan in general, how can they get a hold of you?
So the best way to find me is on my website, firstclassmortgageservice.com. From there, I've got more information on all our renovation programs, and all my contact info is there. So firstclassmortgageservice.com.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.